The Serving Up Discipleship podcast is to help our audience understand the sacred work of service missionaries and why service missions are spiritually transformative and fulfilling. This podcast is produced under the direction of a senior service missionary couple, social media advisors.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Serving Up Discipleship. I'm Elder Price, and I will be your co-host today. And our other co-host is Elder Lewis. And today we have another wonderful special guest. We got Sister Burrell. So welcome. Thanks for hopping on. We're super grateful you're able to make it. We're grateful you're able to take the time to join us and talk about your mission and your experiences and all of that. So wonderful. We'll go ahead and start real quick. We just want you to introduce yourself real quick to everyone, Sister Burrell.
All right. I am Sister Burrell. I live in Gunnison, Utah. Most people don't know where that's at, but it's like smack dab right in the middle of Utah. I have been serving for about 10 months. Yes, about 10 months. And I was first called to Prosody Mission in Wisconsin, but I ended up staying home and doing a service mission, and I have loved it ever since. So that is me.
So, well, good. That's great. And it's how do I say your last name again? I want to make sure I'm not saying this all the time. Burrell?
Yes. Most people say it. I just don't like correcting people.
Mr. Burrell. Perfect. No, I just want to make sure we're good. Perfect. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, definitely. So something that we like to ask everyone, because we like to try and explore different missions, service missions. We want to know what your day-to-day schedule as a service missionary kind of looks like.
All right. I'll just go like with what my services are. So on Mondays, I go to the elementary school and kind of mainly help with first grade, second grade, and third grade with like tutoring, math, and reading. I love doing that because I love kids. And then Tuesdays, I go to the Manti Temple grounds. Since it's closed right now, I can't be an ordinance worker in there. So I help on the grounds, which is so fun because I like to work outdoors. So that's fun. Wednesdays, I go to the high school. My dad's a teacher at the high school, an ag teacher, and so I get to help him in all the classes and help teach kids. And I also do that on Thursdays. I barely changed that. I used to be at the food pantry in Richfield, and I've been doing that for like 9.5 months of my mission. So I decided to take up a little change and do something different. And then Friday, I am at the distribution center in Manti. And then Saturday, I am a ordinance worker at the Pacing Temple. Literally one of the best things ever. I love it. And then Sunday, I am a primary teacher.
Kind of a little bonus question that we like to ask. What is your favorite assignment as a service missionary?
Oh, that is a hard one. I love them all, but I would have to say, okay, can I say two?
Go for it. Go for it.
My two favorites is obviously being an ordinance worker at the Pacing Temple. Because I also get to do it with my grandma. We're on the same shift, so I love that.
Nice.
Another one is teaching SMT because I still get to do some type of teaching on my service.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
the general theme is the ordinance worker one. That's 90% of missionaries love that one.
Yeah, but it's okay to have multiple favorites. I think that's awesome. Secondly, I love you mentioned teaching because we'll get into that in a little bit, which is kind of funny. The Lord provides, so we'll get into there a little bit later. One quick question I did have though. You said on Fridays you serve at somewhere. I wanted to know more about that. What is that?
The distribution center.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I must have like glitched out or something because I thought it sounded something completely different. But okay, cool. So is that where you're at, or is that you have to travel a little bit to get there, or?
That's just 15 minutes away. Like Manti is only 15 minutes away, so it's nice.
Cool. Sounds like fun though. That's awesome. Elder Lewis is shaking his head, but all right, we're gonna move on. Real quick, I just want to give a little preliminary type of thing for this question. This question actually came from someone who asked the question to us from the email. So if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to email us, servingupdiscipleship@gmail.com. We would love to have those questions and use them. So this question is, what are you glad you did before your mission that helps you on your mission?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so when I first, I actually like to think about this a lot. When I first put in my papers, and I got the call to go to Wisconsin, I was like, yeah, I'm so excited and all this stuff. And then I prepared. And the one thing that I prepared for my mission is I've never read the scriptures, the Book of Mormon all the way through by myself. I've read it with my family plenty of times, but personally by myself and like actually pondering and searching in it was the first time before my mission. And I made the goal to do that. And to be able to do that, I had to read like 4 chapters a night. And so I ended up doing it, and that strengthened me so much. But then in home MTC, when I decided to stay home and do a service mission, I kept thinking, like, why would God allow me and let me fill out the papers for a pro-sighting mission and go through all this work to do a pro-sighting mission when I was just going to end up doing a service mission? And I've been pondering that a lot for like the first 4 months of my mission. And the answer that I got was like, I needed to go through that process of doing a pro-sighting mission, because if not, I might have not have read the Book of Mormon or experienced those things. And I realized that's such a huge blessing that I ended up switching over, because if I was straight into a service mission, I might not have read the Book of Mormon all the way through. But since I had the opportunity and I was like, oh, I want to, if I'm going to be teaching all this stuff, I want to know it. And so doing that has actually been a blessing. And I realized that it's not just, you don't need to read the Book of Mormon just to be a missionary. You need to read it all the time. And I love that part. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that experience. That's so true. I think that's amazing that, sometimes I always think about the pathways, right? I mean, there's so many different paths that you think that you should take, and the Lord just has a whole different picture. And he's like, no, I need you here. I want you to go this way, then to come this way. And he gets you where he needs to go. And so I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Definitely. So this next question is similar to one that we asked earlier, but it's a little different. What is your favorite part about being a service missionary?
I gotta be honest, my favorite part about being a service missionary is I feel like it has really changed my mindset, and it helps me see others the way that God sees them. I feel like, all of us have been judgmental before in our life. All of us have that because we all make mistakes. But starting my service mission and like kind of not really been forced to, but having opportunity to do all these service things helped me realize the love that God has for all of his children. And there's a reason why we are here, to help people help serve other people. And like, I think of the food pantry. When I served there, I didn't like it at the very beginning because, it just wasn't my favorite service site, because there's always other ones that are my favorite. But as I continued on, I have loved it so much. And I remember there was this one girl that came once a month, because that's how it goes. And every time she's always like so thankful that I am there and helping her. And every time I'm like, hey, can I help you load your car? And she just gets so excited and so happy. And being able to do that, it makes me realize like this chance for me to serve a service mission helps me see others the way God sees them. And I feel like we need to have that in our mindset every day, because God loves us all so much, and we are his children, and he wants us to serve and love everyone else just like he does.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so true. Good perspectives on everything there. That's wonderful. Experiences bring knowledge and wisdom, and that's great.
I
Is
think,
it time?
I don't know, man. Is it?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I think it is. All right. Well, let's do it. We have this wonderful segment, probably my favorite segment. One of them, I guess I should say. Yeah. It is called the Question of the Week. And each week we take a question that is commonly asked to service missionaries and we answer it. So this week we have the question of, do we, and this goes back to what I discussed before. This is great. Do we as service missionaries do any sort of teaching? So, and then just so you know, we'll all of us will answer this question. And so don't feel pressured to answer it solo, but we can help you and we'll answer too. But if you wanted to start, go for it.
Okay. So yes, like I said before, SMT, service mission training, I have loved this so much because we teach 4 different basically things. We teach a gospel activity, we teach a spiritual lesson, a preach my gospel lesson. Yes, love it. Love preach my gospel. And then an adjusting the service missionary life. Being able to teach other service missionaries and help them be excited for service missions makes me so excited for them, because when I took the class, it helped me realize that there's so many service missionaries and that we're actually making a difference. And then the other thing, a couple of months ago, I got in contact with the cross-sighting missions and missionaries in our town. And I was like, hey, I want to go teaching with you guys sometime. And so I've gone quite a few times with the cross-sighting missions. As service missionaries, we can go teaching with cross-sighting missionaries. And I love that. It's not like we're like segregated. No, we're integrated. Like we are combined together. Just like on a cross-sighting mission, you serve. There's a lot of times that you are literally outside helping somebody in their yard. Like it's just like that. With service missionaries, we also serve, but then we can also teach. So yeah, I've been able to teach a lot with the cross-sighting missionaries, and it's been really cool to be able to have that opportunity to be able to teach some of the lessons out of Preach My Gospel. And because I know them, I know the people that I'm teaching because I live in the same town as them. So it's cool to be able to have them see me like, oh, I am teaching as a service missionary, so they have the understanding of what a service mission is too.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Elder Lewis?
Yeah, definitely. I've had lots of teaching opportunities. The most notable of them is I've taught Institute in my area. I've had people that the Institute director asked me to do so, and it's an amazing opportunity to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, definitely we can go out with teaching missionaries. Now, my mission is not integrated like Utah. We're not special like that, okay? But we still interact a lot with the teaching missionaries, and we still have the opportunity to go with them and teach with them. And it's awesome to be able to do that and to be able to assist in that way.
Yeah. And don't worry, Elder Lewis, you'll get integrated very soon. So that'll be awesome.
1st of January.
Right. So that'll be great. And then everything they said is great. It's wonderful. And I think that, we kind of brought this up. There's so many different ways that we do teach as well. Not necessarily just proselyting, not going with proselyting missionaries, because we do that, and then teaching institute and stuff. There's a lot of other things too. We can go to wards and visit wards and give talks at different stakes and wards. And like just the other day, we talked at a couple firesides and just kind of expressed what service missions were. I've had times where I've been able to speak to seminary classes, to seniors in high school, and be able to help them see different things as well. Because a lot of them, you'll have some that go on proselyting, you'll have some that are kind of on the fence about going. And sometimes them having multiple different options or seeing that, it's not just one pathway that you have to go, but there's multiple, and that the Lord loves each one. And that really helps them to kind of help them make a decision. And so I think that it's great that we have these opportunities to go and teach. So yeah, I love it.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
I like how you said like we can speak in different wards. I actually had the opportunity a while ago, but let's see. Well, our district, we've done this 3 times now. We've gone to one ward, and there's like 4 speakers and like 3 musical numbers in our district. So it's like our service mission district like sacrament meeting, and so we get to it's just all of us in one sacrament meeting teaching to them. So I love that. And then I had the opportunity to go speak at the prison and talk to them about my service mission and about obviously I love talking about the atonement to people. And when I was able to do that, I definitely cried the entire time. But it was so cool to be in that spot because I'm gonna cry because they've made mistakes, but they are trying to change. The people in there, I think they are the people that were in the sacrament meeting, or the worship service. I think they were considered one of the most humble people that I've met, because they were so focused in and listening to me. And afterward, there was 10 people that came up to me, thanked me for coming and speaking with them and talking with them. And I feel like there's so many different opportunities that we can be able to teach other people. It doesn't, like you guys said, it doesn't need to be proselyting. I can't even count how many times I've gone to the store and people are like, oh, where are you serving? And I've had the opportunity to teach them a little bit about service missions. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. I wish they had that when I was back then. I'm like, I know, it's awesome. it's crazy how there's so many different ways to teach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a wonderful experience. Super cool. Go and teach that in prison. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do that, but good on you. Good on that. So as we mentioned to you earlier, Sister Burrell, we do have a topic for all of our episodes, and today's topic is eternal joy. So we wanted to ask, how has eternal joy played an important role in your life as a missionary?
I've actually thought about this a while ago. I was having a lot of questions about the atonement and like how it works and like why you had to do all that. And it brought me back to in life, we go through so many different things, but because of Christ, he can help us overcome everything. And it brought me back to like in life, it made me think of like joy. In life, we have so many different things that bring us joy, but we need to remember the things that bring us eternal joy. Like going to the temple, that's going to bring us eternal joy because it helps us come closer to Christ, and it helps us literally unite families together. And using the atonement, it brings us eternal joy because it helps us become truly clean and makes it possible for us to come to Christ. And as a missionary, I've been able to realize a lot of different times where I felt eternal joy as I'm serving others. I think of just like back when Christ was on the earth, he did so much service. He didn't just teach, he served so many people. And there's like an episode of The Chosen where he, all the apostles were like looking for him and they're like stressing because they can't find him. And then all of a sudden, like they looked for a whole day and they found him underneath a wagon helping somebody fix their wagon. Christ is literally serving people. That's what he did. And I realized that's how there's a reason why it's like a commandment and like an ordinance and things like that to help people and serve people, because it brings eternal joy into our life, and it blesses us and blesses the people around us and our families. And I know for a fact that as I've been serving my service mission, especially in the temple, I've been able to feel eternal joy for others and for myself.
I love that. Thank you so much. Service, it's a wonderful thing. It's awesome. You mentioned some of the benefits of serving, not even just the eternal joy aspect of service, but I think that there's two parts of service. One, when you're serving, you're blessing others' lives for sure, but I think in turn you're also blessing yours. And there's so many things that if you just focus on service, it changes you. Honestly, you could look up how many things service helps, for mentally and emotionally and of course spiritually in this sense, and even physically. All of that is being blessed by service. You're having such a big impact just by serving, and so I think it's wonderful. And so eternal joy is it's one of those main big ones that you get when you serve out of pure love. It is awesome. So real quick, I wanted to continue on with this eternal joy discussion. So I wanted to ask you, how have you grown? As we talked about, you grow as well. How have you grown in your mission service through eternal joy and seeing your efforts bless others to have that joy?
I think of it as kind of like back when I was talking about like the food pantry. When I served others and showed them the way that Christ served, obviously it brought me so much peace and joy and comfort to know that this is what Christ did and this is what he wants us to do. There's a reason why there's service missionaries, and me being able to, as I serve other people and help other people, and me with the tag on it, they see and they realize, oh, they are serving because they love God. And being able to show them why we're doing this and showing them that service is for everyone and supposed to help people, it brings them eternal joy. And I also think of like at the elementary school, when I am able to help the teachers kind of relieve some stress off of them, and I kind of like cover some things, it helps them feel that joy of missionaries. And I know like at the temple, they love having younger service missionaries in there because first off, we're more mobile, but it serves them. It brings them eternal joy because they get to feel the love that God has for us and for them also.
Love it.
Definitely. So this might be a little bit of a harder question. We just have a couple questions left. What would you say has been the hardest thing or part about your service mission that you have overcome?
Oh, you guys have probably heard this one quite a bit, but facing the fact of me not doing a proselyting mission is probably one of the hardest things that I had to overcome. But as I continued on through my service, it was hard at the beginning because I felt like I was weak. I felt like I was letting Christ down. Like from the song, like I can do all things through Christ. I kept thinking like, am I doing all things through Christ if I didn't go out and do proselyting? But as I was thinking about that, I like to change it and think I can get through all things with Christ. I might not have ended up going to Wisconsin, but I got through it. And with Christ's help, I made the decision to do a service mission. If I would have been told that I was going to be doing a service mission instead of proselyting mission like way back, I probably would not have done that. But I needed the humbling experience of not going out on a proselyting to realize I need to do a service mission. That's what I need to do. And now every time anybody asks me about a service mission, I get so excited to explain to them how much we do and how fun it is and how important it is. It's not that proselyting missions are higher than service missions. We are equal. We're both important. If service missions weren't important, we wouldn't have them. Of course they're important. And that has probably been one of the biggest struggles, but I overcame it because now I love my service mission and I would not have changed it for anything.
Awesome. I love your motivation too. That's great. That's wonderful. I think we have very similar stories, I think too. I was originally called to Georgia, Atlanta, and in the MTC, or in the home MTC actually, I found out that I wasn't going to be able to go due to the medical problems. And so I know exactly how that is. It's really hard at first. I was the same. I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to do that. But I think after a few months and been able to just come to realize that this is exactly where the Lord wants me and this is what he needed of me. And I think that's just wonderful. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Real quick, if I can, I'm going to throw a curveball because I love doing that. I do it on almost every podcast episode. So Elder Lewis, I'm sorry, but how
dare you?
We love this question too. This is one of my favorite questions personally, because for me, I see a lot of motivation spots for missionaries. So I just wanted to ask you, what motivates you to be a missionary?
I kind of already shared this, but I'm going to share it again. What motivated me to serve and want to keep serving and do this, it just brings me back to when Christ was ministering on earth and how much he served and just helped people and how much joy it brought people. And like in our SMT class, actually I'll be teaching this lesson today, but I like to ask the question, like, why did you serve? And I want them to be honest about why they serve. Like, if it's just like, because that's like the general like thing that they want to do or something like that, I want them to specifically write down their opinion. And I want it at the end of, I want them to think of like what they want to change by the end of their mission or by the end of SMT. And I remember when I was writing this down, I like to do the activities too. And I was writing this down, I kind of wanted to make it like a short answer, and all I put was because I love God. He has done so much for us, and that's why I continue to serve. And I know when I'm done with my mission, I'm actually just doing a year mission, so I'll finish in a month and a half. But when I finish my mission, I'm not done serving. I like to explain to people, like, even though I'm finishing my service mission early, I'm not really finishing my mission because our whole life is a mission. We're continually going to be serving. other people. And I'm so excited to be able to, I'm moving up to live with my sister and help her with her kids and her family. And I'm so excited to be able to do that. That service, being able to help my family, that's a huge service. God wants me to do that. And it helped me realize how important service really is. And it's not one specific thing that makes it service. There's so many different opportunities that is service. And it's not just a year, 18-month, or 2-year mission. It's a life mission that we need to continue to serve because it strengthens us as well as others.
Well said. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Well, unless Elder Price has more curveballs to throw at me.
I'm done. I don't have any curveballs, I don't think.
All right. If you say so. The final question that we like to ask, and I think this is our all-time favorite question, is if you would be willing to share your testimony on service missions.
Oh, yes, I would love to. You guys keep making me cry. I love service missions. I have made so many friends on my mission, and I have had so many opportunities to be able to help people. And if I'm going to be able to help people come closer to Christ and feel the love of Christ, I want to do it. And so I am so grateful. Not really that I'm grateful that I didn't end up doing the cross-study mission, but kind of, because I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to show my community and my ward and the people around me what service missions are. And I know that they are so important. I remember when I first told my family, I was scared to tell them that I was doing a service mission. But when I told them, my brother answered back because he went to Jamaica and he loved his mission. And when he answered back, he's like, oh, my nickname's Bob. So he's like, Bob, that is so cool. Service missions are so cool. The prophet has said that service missions and cross-study missions are necessary. They're both needed. And it kind of calmed me down and realized service missions are important and they really do make a difference in people's lives. And I know for a fact that it's made a difference in my life, and I know it has changed me for the better for the rest of my life. I know that it will impact me for the rest of my life, and I just love service missions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time today and hopping on with us and just sharing your testimony, sharing your experiences of service missions. I hope you know that, this people can see this and they get blessed by the things you say and the experiences you share. And so this is creating a big impact on those lives that see it. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And that's it. I guess the last thing is until next week, let's serve up some discipleship. See you, everyone.
Thank you for taking the time to see or hear this podcast. Your hosts were Elder Lewis and Elder Price. Your editor is me, Elder Gibby. If you want to see clips from the show or other service mission related content, please look for the Hands of the Lord Facebook page. If you want to ask your questions about service missionaries, email us at servingupdiscipleship@gmail.com. Thanks again for thinking of us, and we'll see you next time.